Let's welcome him in. The new book is called Positively Unstoppable, The Art of Owning It. And I'm telling you, if you just listen to this man and you don't get motivated, you don't think positively, I'm telling you, reading this book is going to do it. And we welcome him in right now. Diamond Dallas Page, how are you, my friend?
Positively Unstoppable. Mark Henry, what's up,
my
baby?
guy? What's up, brother?
You, baby, you. I've been going since 7:30 this morning. I started with Sam Roberts and then went to the feed that they do you on when you do 20 of them, and then I came right to you guys, man. So I'm pumped.
The car wash. You're doing the car wash.
Yeah, car wash.
Well, talk about this book. I've been reading it. You know, we spoke on the phone, and I promised you that I would, and it gets you motivated, and it really breaks it down. And you say it in the book, and it's so true. At some point in your life, you're going to get knocked down. At some point in your life, you're going to have people tell you can't do it. It's how you respond to those situations and the mindset that you have in those situations.
Well, let's give an example of you right here. Starting out like when you started this, there was no such thing as all day. When you started doing this podcast, I was here. Wasn't I one of the first people ever on?
You were? Absolutely.
And it was like, let's try this. Let's see what happens. But you didn't know. But just even getting there would be a bold statement. Like me saying that I'm going to be a professional wrestler at 35 and a half. P.S. Hayes fell down on the ground laughing at me, like shoot, laughing at me. And, it later, everyone's going to tell you why you can't do something. And I'm going to tell you why you can, or how you can. And how you can is it all comes down to we can all change our mental state. We can't change our physical state in an instant, but we can change our mental state in an instant, like that ongoing story, the story you tell yourself that, it could be the little angel and the little devil, it could be that, oh, you can't do it, it'll never happen. Oh, yes, you can. It's like that story that goes into, I really learned more about it than ever when I had Jake and Scott in my house. And getting Jake more so than Scott, getting him to understand, I'll never forget one day he came downstairs and he punched the counter. It's a marble counter. And he goes, oh man, I'm so stupid. And he was so mad at himself. And I could just see what was happening in his brain. He was in that emotional gravity spot, whatever the thing, I don't even remember what it was. But I looked at him and I go, come here, I want to show you something. And I brought him into the bathroom. And I said, look in the mirror and tell me what you see. He goes, a loser. He goes, I'm a effing loser. Can we say effing this word?
You can say
I'm a fucking loser. That's what he said. And I go, don't say that. You're not, man. I go, look at yourself. What's that shirt? What does that shirt say? And he wears this shirt at the time, and it's a skeleton. And he's got a flag, and it says wasted youth on the flag. I said, you see that right there? I see you wear this t-shirt all the time. I go, that's what you tell yourself. You wasted everything. You're wasted youth. I go, that's a story. You should be wearing t-shirts that say, my history's not my destiny. You should be wearing, never give up. You should be wearing positive energy. You should be seeing that. You got to surround yourself, Jake. You've always, because of the addiction comes with a lot of shame. And that self-negative talk is the absolute worst. And it took a while to beat that off. But that's how I started thinking, wow, this is really everything. You are the story you tell yourself. And that's what Positively Unstoppable is all about. The art of owning it is it can be whatever you want it to be.
But you have to be able to put the work in as well. It's one thing to have the mindset, but that's one thing that you talk about in this book. You have to be able to put the work in.
Yeah,
it's hard to do that with shame, though. Mm-hmm. When you look in the mirror and you go, "Wow, I did that. I'm not gonna do that anymore." And then tomorrow you do it and you go, "Damn, I'm so weak. Why did I do that again?" I'm ashamed. It's hard to beat that shame off yourself.
Yeah, but as you know, Mark, you have to. And you can't, like, after you've made the mistakes, and I've learned from, I still make mistakes, but I've learned from so many of the mistakes I made, and I talk about them in Positively Unstoppable. I talk about, like, having that emotional gravity, and you sometimes, like, another example would be, let's focus on shame for right now, because that's where Jake's really big problem was. I got him to stop focusing on the shame as much as it was like your kids are talking to you for the first time in a long time. Like we had just got done doing an interview, and the interview, he'd bring up all the dark stuff, and okay, great that they hear it, but now let's stop telling that story because you're not in that spot now. Like I said, why don't we go to telling the story about how you got a relationship with 3 of your 8 kids for the first time in a decade? Why don't we focus on you're getting booked because people aren't afraid to book you anymore? You're making 2 or 3 times the money that you were making when you stopped, when nobody would book you. Like, why don't we focus on all the good things that are happening? So that's, Mark, that's the only way because everybody can just wallow in the shame, but man, there's stuff I'm ashamed of too, but it's like, I'll let that go. If you don't let that shit go, it doesn't help anybody.
Yeah, and it's different for everybody. Like, everybody has different shames.
Sure.
And, if Ric Flair and I sat at WrestleMania one time, and he was saying, about if somebody drank 2 drinks, I drank 3. And I said, you know what, man, like, we would go out, and if somebody spent $100, I was going to spend $300. And, like, so everybody had different things that they were fighting, trying to one-up each other and this, that, and the other. And like you said, getting rid of that shame was very, very difficult because sometimes you feel like you can't recover from it. Like, nobody's going to forgive you. And it helps to have other people around you that can actually forgive you and say, look, I know you screwed up, but there's another day. Tomorrow, we need to fix this. We need to change it. This is the protocol that's going to happen to get that done. Where in your book, is there a segment or a chapter where you talk about the forgiveness and moving on?
I didn't really get into that. It's a great subject, but I think you could do a whole book on that. But I think more than anything, you got to forgive yourself first, before anybody else can. Like, you got to, that's what they teach you. I've never been in an addict situation. Scott Hall says my addiction's helping people. That's what he says. That's what he said my addiction is. But the one thing that the program teaches you, if you're part of AA, just I know because I'm around it, is you got to forgive yourself first, and then you got to go back around and you got to apologize to all the people that you fucked around, and a lot of times people, you were such a bad addict that a lot of people don't ever forgive you, but as long as you forgive yourself, at least that's a part of it. And again, you can do that in an instant. You just have to make the decision.
Well, Mark brought up something that is talked about in the book, and I know it's something that you always preach, and that is about relationships.
Oh, yeah.
And you give a great thank you to your wife, and it's that strong bond and relationship. I'm sure to have somebody like that in your life keeps you on that road and helps motivate you. And even when you talk about your wrestling career, having somebody like Dusty Rhodes that was by your side and in your corner, it truly is about relationships.
Oh, A to Z. When people say it's all about who you know or who knows you, like, that's bullshit. Who knows you or who you know, it can help, but it's not the Quan. The Quan is having someone who, who's willing to say they know you, who's willing to be talking with you and say, hold on, let me pick up the phone right now and make a call. Like, for me, there was a lot of guys who did it. Dusty, like, it took time though. You've got to be someone that they see work hard. You never know who's watching you. And that's where a lot of, people saying they know me came from, because I'm going to, I watched Rock the other day. He did a great speech for, talk for the LA Lakers. Mm-hmm. And he basically said, no one here will outwork me. Like, no one. And knowing his schedule, he's right. I don't care who it is. LeBron James, might be, but I don't think he's outworking The Rock. He might be working his heart. That's how I always geared what I was doing. Like, no one's going to outwork me, not with what I'm doing. And like, that's what people see. And when people see that you're working at that level, like throughout the book, I talk about, like, it's going to take work. Like, you just can't go, oh, I'm going to be positive. No, you're not. Like, there's a whole method to it, and there's a whole learning plan. And it's you got to work your brain. A good example for people who actually paid attention in school and got 4 O's. They didn't. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them had to work their ass off. They had to study. It's the same in the gym. He didn't become the strongest man in the world by not going to the gym. So Henry, he understands work ethic at a different level. But everything, and especially when you're trying to control emotional gravity. That's what I call it, when people start pulling themselves down. And I've been there. We've all been there. My thing is, you can take the most powerful people in the world, from Trump to Obama to Oprah to Tom Brady to LeBron James. I mean, that's just a handful. They all go down. They just don't stay there. They bounce right back up again. They don't stay there. That's what I pride myself in. And I try to teach in this. It's like, it's okay to go down. It's okay to get, depressed, not to fall in depression, but there's things that can help pull you out of it. And one of the things that have always worked for me is what I call attitude of gratitude. You're like focusing on, things that you are like you have, as opposed to things that you don't have. And I've seen people who are making millions of dollars focus on things that they don't have. Like, what about all the shit you do have?
Yeah.
This amazing family. The first thing, hey, Mark, did you ever meet Brickhouse Brown?
I did.
I loved Brickhouse Brown. He's one of the first guys I actually met in the business when I started working with AWA, because they did a merger with AWA, Texas and Memphis. They were trying to do their pay-per-view. And Brick and I got to know each other pretty good. And we'd stay in touch with each other. And then I, lost numbers and we didn't talk for a long time. And then I showed up at Memphis. We were at the wherever the Civic Center, wherever Jerry always would wrestle. And so, really hotbed. We were hot as hell. And when I seen Brick, he's like, DDP. We gave each other a big hug. And he said, D, he said, I heard you're doing a lot of stuff for kids and you're inspiring people. And he said, you've always been like that. He goes, man, I'm really down. I'm really down right now. He goes, can you inspire me? Wow. And the first thing I said to him, I said, do you got cancer? No, I ain't got cancer. Why would you say that? I said, because that's a problem. I said, what's the problem? And it was divorce, which I went through that too, super hard, and it was all things that will pull you down with emotional gravity. It's life. And I said, well, Brick, I said, here's something that I know works. I said, you're right down the street from Danny Thomas cancer thing, kids cancer hospital. I said, I'll bet you if you went down there just to see those kids, I said, they don't know if you're in WCW, WWF, or Memphis Wrestling. They just know you're a wrestler. You're a wrestler's on TV. Those kids who are dying will be so excited to see you, bro. They will be so pumped. I know because I've been there. They will be so pumped. Read to them. Pick up a book. Read, hang out with them. Just laugh with them. I go, leaving there, dude, you're going to feel like a different person. And he went, wow, D, he said, that's good advice. And, it's like focusing on the things that you do have. And again, it's easy to wallow in the negative. It's easy. If it was easy, if the hard was easy, everybody be doing it.
And you just mentioned Brickhouse Brown, and we lost Brickhouse Brown, but you saw at the end of his life, and maybe it was from that conversation, you saw a change in him. You saw the positivity, part of the Cauliflower Alley Club,
right?
And man, I mean, to inspire somebody like you said that was off the grid and in depression for years, and it's a cycle that sometimes is almost impossible to get out of. And maybe it's just one conversation or one action that could get somebody to get motivated to get on the right track.
And again, we create. I believe we create our own realities. Sometimes life is really overwhelming. But I don't know, man. I just feel like when I look at my life, and it's like I shouldn't be sitting where I'm sitting. I mean, if you take, what people believe is possible, starting at 35 as a wrestler, in the book, did you read Mick Foley's forward?
Yeah. First of all, I've never read a forward like that before, where he kind of puts himself into the past and looking at himself 25 years in the future. I mean, he's a super talented guy, the perfect person to do that forward.
Because Mick would never, if Mick, knowing me as a manager and starting out as a wrestler, because we're bros. I mean, we've been tight. I met him the same time I met Brickhouse Brown. He was in Memphis at the time working. And so, I know Mick for 30 years. So, and helped him. Like 5 times I tried to help him with my program. 5 times he fell off. And last time he was at my house, I'd said, bro, when you're ready, I'm still here. And when he started to do it on his own and saw what happened with him, and now Mick's down 100 pounds and he's way more mobile. He feels way better. But he was like, it was either him or Jericho to write it. And I asked him first, and I knew he would write something entertaining. I never thought it would be that entertaining. And to set it back 25 years ago with a ghost coming back 25 years.
Crazy.
And saying you're going to be asked to write a forward for a WWE Hall of Famer, but it's the way he does everything.
I know, it's like quite quick, because he was saying like, well, where's the F? What's WWE? Like, it just, because he's so creative, because he is a writer as well.
Yes,
so.
Great writer. And one of the things that, this is a great example, and you can ask Mick this, because when he wrote his children's book, the Christmas book he did, he was down at my house in Atlanta. This is about maybe 13, 12 years ago. I can't remember exactly how many years ago it was. I don't remember how. It was a long time ago, though. And he was at my house, and he said to me, I was living in Atlanta at the time. He said, I got to thank you for making me believe that I could do this. Like he got interviewed for my book Positively Page. And when he walked off the phone with Smokey, because Smokey was interviewing him, telling the cookie story and all that, he thought, DDP's writing a book? I got to write a book. Now, I used to tell him all the time when we'd be on the road together, because we were on the road a lot in WCW, and I go, Mick, you got to stop throwing yourself on the floor. Like, there's 300 people here. Yeah, stop. You're bigger. He was super tight with saving money. I go, dude, you're bigger than this. You're one of the smartest guys I've ever met in this business. I go, you're bigger than this. There's something else out there. I didn't know it was writing. But because our book was being written, he wanted to get his out with WWE, and it became a passion. And he long form wrote everything himself. Wow. And it was pretty cool that, again, never underestimate the power you give someone by believing in them. Like, that's what I'm doing right now with so many people that are doing my program. Since that, did you see the video of the guy who lost 198 pounds? Mark, Mark, did you see that video?
Yes, I did.
22 million views in 7 days.
Crazy.
Now, this guy, this is a funny story, because you know who Bert Kreischer is, right? Mm-hmm. Do you know who Bert is, Mark?
No, I don't know.
He's a comedian. He's super funny. He's one of Rogan's guys. And so they have that Sober to October that they do. And Vance sees that. And at some point, Bert says he's going to run a half a marathon. Been sober for 2 weeks. You're going to run a half marathon? He's not in the best shape. And the bottom line is he did. And Vance was so moved on it. If he can get off the couch, if he can get off and run a half marathon, I can get off the couch and walk around the block. Now, in the meantime, someone puts up on my Twitter, you should have DDP on your podcast. He said, I'd love to have him on my podcast. So I go on to follow Bert on Twitter, and I see this video of Vance. And he's got the camera out there, and he's videoing himself without his shirt on. He's 5'10". He's 475 pounds. District attorney in Texas. And he starts saying, Bert, you inspired me. You get off it. I'm off it. I'm down 10 pounds. I'm working, I'm working hard. I'm going to make this happen. But you're so far away from the journey, So I just tweet him. Because he's not following me, so I can't DM him. I tweet him and say, hey, man, if you want some help, hit me back. I said, I'll give you a hand. And I said, it looks like you're really putting the work in. Because that's what's important to me.
The work.
And he DMs me back. He goes, I'm sorry, but I had no idea who you were. But my Twitter feed lit up when you offered to help me. And I used to say no to everyone's help, but I've decided now to say yes to everything. So yes, I would love your help. And he flew into Atlanta, spent 1 day with me, flew back home. I started teaching him how to eat. What I tell people to eat is real food, like what God created, not the genetically modified garbage. I ideally eat organic because it's full of pesticides if it's not. And you want to know why there's so much cancer in our country? Just spray a bottle of pesticide on your tongue and tell me what happens a couple weeks later. It's like they're poisoning us. And people don't know because they think, organic this or organic that, or what your great-grandparents used to call food. Everything was organic. Go to Italy. Everything's organic. Yep. So the bottom line is he went on this journey. 1 year to the day, the guy lost 198 pounds. Now, he had a walking, talking, very positively unstoppable. He had an art of owning it in his ear, but it was tweets, and occasionally we talk. I don't do it all the time because I want you to do it yourself. I want you to be proud of you for doing it. And it's all that confidence, like completely different cat 1 year later. And when you can see that shift, or from disabled veteran Arthur Borman or Stacy or Terry or Christina or any of the people I've worked with, when you can have that shift and be a completely different person, yes, you can. You can change. But it starts, I tell every one of them, as important as the DDPY program is, as important as the eating plan is, that's 10% of the equation. The 90% is between your ears.
And Mark, he gets into that 90%.
Listen, Dallas, you talk about things that motivate you. Vanity motivated me. I walked by a mirror with my shirt off, and I don't know, I made some kind of sudden move, and I saw like a wave of humanity, right. And I said, oh my God, like that's got to stop. and I never in my life was able to cross my legs. And I remember I was telling you this, a while back. And so I started stretching. And you said, man, you're pretty flexible for a big guy. And I said, you know what, man, I'm flexible because, I've always not wanted to be like everybody else, but I saw that I was not flexible. So I wanted to make myself flexible. In the process, I started feeling better. I was able to do more things because I was not so bound up. And I went on, and it was once I started reading the things that you were preaching, it was pretty much what you were preaching. It was like, you know what? Start with stretching. Start with being able to move something that was locked up that you weren't able to do before. And then the diet stuff started to happen. My wife is dieting right now. She wants to lose 30 pounds, even though I told her if she lose all the toys, I'm going to divorce her. But like, you know, it's a want to. Like, you got to have the want to. I can't tell you, hey, you want to lose 100 pounds, do this. You have to want. You know what? I had to see myself walking through the house with that shirt off and my stomach moving like the ocean before me to say, no, sir. I can't have that. And it's like you got to have that want to.
No, you're right. And that's exactly the reason why I have people take those 6 pictures, because it's not just the, front and side picture. I want you to see your physiology, like how do you stand, your flexibility, and your core strength. And that's why, and you can't fake that. You can't say, well, yeah, I started your program. Well, did you take those 6 pictures? Because then I'm going to see your body completely change. Like, I don't know if I told you this, but we have if you go to positivelyunstoppable.com, we started a challenge, and it goes to May 31st. From right now to May 31st, whoever has the biggest transformation physically and mentally, and the mental part is we're going to ask you questions, and we're going to have you write an essay. Like, what was your transformation? Whoever those 2 finalists are, from Canada to the United States, whoever those 2 finalists are, we're going to fly them into Atlanta, GA, put them up at the accountability crib, which, by the way, right now is an Airbnb. And if people want to stay at the accountability crib, they can stay in the Jake the Snake suite, the Razor Ramon suite, or the DDP suite. And we've got my wife, Brenda, she put up like 800 pictures. Wow. So it's got like Jake's, some of Jake's stuff, some of mine, some of the Hall of Fame, some of Scotty's. Then some, it's my house, so there's different pictures with different celebrities around and whatever. But it's just fun moments, and it's like it's a museum, but it's not. And anybody who's seen the Resurrection of Jake the Snake, and if you haven't, it's on Amazon Prime right now, and it's on Hulu. Just went on Hulu, so you can see it there. But anybody who's seen the movie, they kind of know the house because we filmed everything in the house. But the contest will fly you in to Atlanta, GA. We'll put you up at the accountability crib, and 2 finalists are going to get the chance to win $1 million.
Wow.
$1 million. And man, it's good. It's gonna be a trip. I can't wait to get to that spot, but that'll be sometime this summer because we have to take all the people coming in because we literally have thousands of people. And here's the deal: the opening of the book, the first 3 lines starts out like this: what would you do if your success was guaranteed? In other words, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Now, if you get in the challenge and you think, oh, I know I can't win, but I'm just, fuck that. Don't do it. Like, you don't have to be 400 pounds. It's going to be a 4-month contest, 4.5 months. Some people started early January. But the bottom line, it's over in 4 months and a week. So you could be 30 pounds overweight or 20 pounds or whatever. You could be 10 and you could just change your whole structure. Like, what are you doing? What is that change that you're going to go through? But this is the key. Because again, this is like, what did you learn from, from this journey? So that's what it is. Go to positivelyunstoppable.com and sign up. And the other thing I want to tell you guys before I forget, we are about to make an announcement. This is really big for my company because it's the years of, 10-year overnight success. And then the last 7 years of really putting it out there. About to announce a partnership between my company, and the NFL alumni.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Congratulations. That's
take
amazing.
care of those. I really want to help those guys.
That is unbelievably special right there. Because those guys are really, really beat up.
Yeah, man. Even a lot of them more so than us, bro. You know, I mean, and you're still a young man, Mark Henry. How old are you now?
47.
Yeah, you're a baby. You're a baby. Brother, when I got into my 50s, especially my late 50s, my body was like, oh, guess what, motherfucker? We're getting you back for and now I'm 62. Every morning, I came up with something. I've been working with the guys down at NXT, the guys and the gals down there, which, I mean, these kids, woo, they are some crazy athletes down there at NXT. The kids, they got crazy athletes, and the bumps they take. But I had 70 of them working out with me when I first get down there, and because I normally go during TV, but I'm not doing that anymore because I want to spend time with them. But these kids, man, what a work ethic they have down there.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The name of the book is Positively Unstoppable, The Art of Owning It. You can pick that up right now.
You can pick it up right now. It's in bookstores everywhere.
If you need that extra little push, believe me, it's going to give you all the motivation you need. And one final question before we say goodbye, because the last time we spoke to you was at StarCast.
Yeah,
and
that was crazy, right?
Yeah, it was amazing. And that was just before Cody captured the NWA Championship, which you were in Cody's corner. Just get a thought or two on what Cody's doing and AEW.
It's crazy, man. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I've been lucky enough because he's like my nephew. He's like, I've known him since he's 10 years old. Was at both his state championships that he won back in the day when he was in high school. Flew in from LA for them. It's really amazing, what's happening with the wrestling in general. And I think it's, first of all, unbelievable what happened with WWE and getting that $1.2 billion deal to just to not to buy any of the company, to just have programming on on SmackDown on Friday nights. It's unbelievable. But to watch what's happening in the independents all around the world, it's really an amazing time to be a wrestler. And what they created with All In, like I say, I was there, and that it reminded me of that ECW crowd when they were ravenous in ECW, which was always. It reminded me of that. And it even reminded me of like 97, 98 in WCW. The fans were they were so with it. What they're doing now with AEW, I think it's great for the boys. People say, so you think you're gonna go win AEW? I'm like, I'm a WWE guy. They've been really good to me the last 8 years. It's been amazing. So I love my affiliation with him. But I love what he's doing, and if he needs me for anything here and there, I'm always there because he's my boy, and I'm proud of him.
Well, whatever you ever need for us, we really always appreciate the time. Again, the book is called Positively Unstoppable, The Art of Owning It. DDP, always a pleasure.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
The time.
Hey, Henry,
brother, thank you for coming. I love you too, man. Thank you so much.